kissing. I'm getting mine.
I'm not just talking about your ugly
Welcome back, hot dogs.
Watch your mouth on my
I
ugly
know
ass
it's
daughter now,
time
bro.
for another Super Saturday.
Just playing shit ugly as fuck.
Your train of thought is all the way off the tracks, bro.
I'm just be honest, bro. I've never loved her. You see her ugly ass back there with my haircut on? She want to be a junior so bad, bro. Like, I told her she had a daughter. She's stupid as fuck, bro. Like, I hate her.
Hey, nigga, don't call me no more.
What you mean? Hello? Hello? We still friends, right?
What kind of lipstick do you think? I
I think you should wear a bag over your face, sweetie.
I really don't know what to say right now. I mean, I never considered you a stupid man. I mean, I have a top 10 list of stupid people, and you never were nowhere near on the list, but you're damn sure top 5 now. You're actually going for the GOAT status. Shut your ass up. You look like a damn GOAT. And if I'm stupid, I ain't stupid enough. I should have did this shit a long time ago. I would have avoided a lot of headaches.
Actually, they say injecting bleach into your veins may induce headaches.
Oh, here you go.
And also cause death.
Where the fuck you are? That stupid ass shit at?
The label on the bleach.
Bullshit, that shit do not say that.
Yes, it does.
Okay, where on the bottle to say it then?
On the label, nigga.
Shut your lying ass up. Go get me a bottle of bleach right now. I'm gonna read the fuck out that shit.
All right, nigga. I'll go
Hey,
find
sit your
one.
ass back down. You know I can't read.
Nigga, you don't know how to read, bro?
Look, the bottom line is that I'm fucking cured. I put the bleach in my veins and it worked. Let me ask you this. If it works, why do you think we're in a hospital? Why you look like Brad Pitt and Colonel Sanders had a baby together? Why it look like you wear Confederate flag boxes? Why it look like you might have slaves in your basement? That goatee was a bad decision. Ain't nobody tell you to do that. You look ridiculous. You look like Matthew McConaughey if you bought a Saturn instead of a Lincoln. Why do you look like that? See, I can ask you questions all day too. Maybe they got me here because they want to study you, boy, because I got the cure. Oh no, bro, you actually here because we found you blacked out in your room and they had to cut your arm off because that bleach fucked that shit up. Ain't nobody fucking look. I got my arm. Nigga, the ungodly way I just beat my dick right before y'all came in here. Nigga, I wasn't gonna say nothing, but it happened right before y'all came in. Nigga, it was spontaneous as fuck. I aimed for that chair. What? Nigga, talking about my arm gone, nigga. I'll hand your bitch ass something right now.
Hand me something, then,
Don't
bro.
play with me, nigga. I'll hand your bitch ass something fast.
I don't see your no hands moving like you ain't past me. Your hands.
Ain't nothing to pass or hand you in here right now, nigga. If I had a flyer or a mixtape, it'd be a rap for your ass, nigga. I've been handed you that shit. Nigga, I'll hand you a small bag of Doritos right now. Don't play with me. Matter of fact, I'll make a deal with your bitch ass and give you the firmest handshake you ever had in your fucking life, nigga. Fuck wrong with you? I got hands out here, nigga. Pass me the remote then, bro. Ellen on. I'm trying to watch. You ain't say shit but a word, nigga. Here. Nigga, oh my God, what the fuck arm? Oh my God, where's your arm? Nigga, that's what I'm asking y'all. What the fuck is my arm? That was with you.
Bro, you signed the consent forms to amputate.
How the fuck do I sign anything? I'm right-handed. I can't sign shit if I ain't got no arm.
Not you, nigga. You were unconscious. Him.
Me? No, the only paper I signed said you were leave with no harm.
No, bro. That shit said no arm.
That can't be right, because the doctor told me it'd be a harm.
Although I'm having a good time watching this is not what we're doing today. Welcome back, hot dogs. It's your boy Spider Pig. Y'all know what time it is. It's Super Saturday. Y'all clicking on that Dragon Ball thumbnail, and I appreciate that. So let's get right to it. Pig ready to go. Play out. What Johnny say? Flame on. That's what's up. What Johnny say? Flame on. That's this live. Wrong playlist.
McDonald's hairline, spiky carrot laughing, motherfucker. You lose every goddamn fight. This why your bitch ass get kicked off the round table. You fuck. Oh my God. Mode, activate. Fuck your transformation, nigga. Fuck your power, nigga.
Let's see the Champ Gaming channel that we watching right now. Shouts out to CJ, you know his work speaks for itself. We did Black Air Force reviews last year around this time, so y'all go check them out in the playlist.
That nigga said I'm stronger than he was even before, to the point where he could hold up Mount Sumeru on just one shoulder, which basically equaled out to holding up the infinite cosmic sky. Wukong was able to reach perfection on his journey, entering into the incomplete nirvana, which is boundless reality beyond everything, beyond all concepts and limitations. It's above the God realms and the formless realms, which those two realms were already above physicality and dimensions. So we're talking about like true outer-versal stuff here. And it doesn't stop there, because at the end of his journey, Sun Wukong was brought before the Buddha again. And this time, he transcended into the complete nirvana, which made him even more powerful.
So, you find yourself on the Unrelent Gaming channel. How fortunate for you. I, Lord Freezer, will spare your life as long as you subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, don't forget to become a member of Unrelent Gaming's Patreon for tons of exclusive content to early access media and much more. Do it now, or else.
March 25th, 2018 has now officially marked 6 years and 7 months since the last time we've seen a Dragon Ball anime product air worldwide, with Dragon Ball Super Episode 131 having to conclude the events of the Tournament of Power, and now 6 years and 7 months later, we now officially have the debut of Dragon Ball Daima. But what makes this different by comparison to what happened 6 years ago was, unfortunately enough, the creator of Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama, is no longer with us, but his everlasting memory and his legacy will always continue to carry on in having to leave behind one of his final projects, with that having to be Dragon Ball Daima, as I do want to welcome you all to my Dragon Ball Daima anime episode number 1 official review, as right off the gate from the very beginning, I deliberately went as far as to hold back any comments that I had ever since the initial announcement of Dragon Ball Daima, and that was mainly because I was never really a fan of the overall concept behind Daima and what Daima was going to introduce, especially with its overall premise. But going into this series, beginning with episode 1 with my bias aside, since of course I wanted to see Dragon Ball Super return, I wanted to see Moro be adapted just like everyone else wanted to see, I really wanted to go into Dragon Ball Daima by having to remove my bias and keep an open mind. And man, from the very beginning, what I will say is that I think it's pretty obvious by now that Dragon Ball Daima looks beautiful. From a visual standpoint, having to put the narrative aside for a second, whenever Shueisha and Toei Animation finally decide to get their act together and start to animate the Moro arc and then the Granola arc, and then hopefully we move past superhero and then move into something new after the fact, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm really hoping that it looks something similar to Daima, because for many years Dragon Ball Super had caught strays left and right for its visual aesthetics and the way it looked, and I think that a lot of us can agree that Dragon Ball Super had its ups, had its downs, but this was actually pretty good, because in my opinion, I think Dragon Ball Super Superhero looked like absolute trash. The CGI was atrocious, to me at least. Dragon Ball Super Broly visually had looked the best up until this very point in time, and I think that with the way they went as far as to introduce how Daima looks, I think that's a big plus moving forward for Dragon Ball, because I really don't think that anyone wants to see Super return specifically by seeing Moro fight Goku or anything of the sorts, and just have the visual aesthetics in the animation look like cheap knockoffs compared to what we've seen here in Dragon Ball Daima. So from the very beginning, as we venture on over into the Demon Realm and having to be introduced to a Kaioshin named Degesu and, of course, a little demon by the name of Goma. They just so happen to have had these giant screens that were displaying all of the events that follow through the Majin Buu arc, which I will say really went as far as to surprise me, because even though I'm not a fan of the overall premise of having all of this seemingly take place before Battle of Gods, so for them to go all the way back during the events and having to relive the Majin Buu story looked so glorious, especially when having to see Goku versus Majin Vegeta, Majin Buu having to hatch and going up against our heroes, having to see Super Buu fight against our heroes, Majin Vegeta's explosion against Buu, the entirety of the events that led up to Super Buu, Kid Buu, it all looked so good that it almost kind of infuriates me in a way, because the visuals looked so amazing that it almost makes me question as to what the heck happened with Superhero. And even throughout most of Dragon Ball Super's run, with the exception of the latter portions of the Tournament of Power arc, do I only question as to what happened with the anime staff, because realistically speaking, with the exception of Dragon Ball Super Broly, this was probably the best that I've seen Dragon Ball look in decades, and to see this little character by the name of Goma actually be so fascinated by Deborah's death kind of made me wonder as to why that was, until we finally had the revelation that, of course, Goma wants to become the new Demon King of course, the Demon Realm, but there was a bit of a problem only because this little character that goes by the name of Goma really wasn't seemingly taken serious by half of the characters that he was around, which almost makes me kind of wonder if this is really going to be the main villain, because although Degesu, which again kind of reminds me a lot of Zamasu in a way, almost kind of makes me feel like he's the real villain of the story, just based on his overall demeanor and just based on his overall body language, his approach. He seemed more like a villain than Goma was, because Goma simply wants to go as far as to avenge Deborah's death, of course, by questioning the events of what happened with all of the Saiyans involved, and even Majin Buu. So inevitably enough, they end up going to Earth, and interestingly enough, it's Trunks' birthday. So upon us having to see everybody once again feast, because they always gotta start off some kind of a story by having everybody eat, right? It really wasn't long after until Goku decided to stand up and challenge Vegeta to a fight, which again, even in the present, their fight looked absolutely amazing. But if we're being totally objective and honest here, nothing throughout this episode really happened outside of a bunch of recaps, which again looked really good. So unless you're some kind of a casual, there was really nothing new in this episode that we didn't already know of, aside from having to see Goma travel from point A to point B, going inside of this weird gigantic fish, linking up with some very old and weird looking evil Namekian, mind you, who disgustingly enough reminds me so much of Monaito, and I hated Monaito so much in the Granola arc only because he was so useless. But what I will say is I actually liked this older evil Namekian in this particular episode, because when they all ended up coming to Earth, it was Dende that ended up confronting this Namekian, and interestingly enough, this Namekian kind of used a bit of wordplay to get the Dragon Balls away from Dende's possession, and it was only shortly after, with Dende attempting to interfere by stopping them from using the Dragon Balls, was where we actually got to see one of the biggest highlights, at least for me, and that was when this evil Kaioshin Degesu used one of Zamasu's chops to chop Dende in the neck, because it was so unexpected, it was so funny, and it was so random to see him do that, but it inevitably ended up working in their favor, because upon them having to summon Shenron, that's when all of the interesting things happened, right? Which again, mind you, everyone's attending Trunks' birthday, really nobody's paying attention as to what is going on, until that was when Goma had weirdly enough decided to turn everyone into children. Now, this was something that I think a lot of us had a problem with, because we didn't really want to see this quote GT 2.0, right? Because we've been there, done that, and if we really want to watch peak Goku as a child, then I think it's safe to say we would all much rather watch OG Dragon Ball than anything else, right? So our heroes get turned into children essentially by the end of the episode, and that's when the episode cut off. And I think that for what it's worth, again, visually, based on the overall soundtrack from the beginning, everything flowed so smoothly, except, again, I can't stress it enough, the narrative, because if this was somewhat after the events of maybe Granola, Superhero, then okay, but to go all the way back pre-Battle of Gods is just a little weird. Unless they plan on having to take this into Super later on, then I do do believe that this could be somewhat of an exception. The episode was fun. The episode was very nostalgic in a way, if you had to use that term, to go back and relive the events of the Majin Buu story, except once again, it all looked so beautiful that I really do hope that whenever they decide to bring back Moro, Granola, etc. for Super, that they essentially end up using whatever team this was to animate this and make this look as beautiful as possible, because I was simply blown away because I wasn't expecting this much detail to go into literally anything, especially recaps, right? So if these were all just recaps and retellings of the events of Dragon Ball Z, then you can only imagine as to what they have lined up for Daima in the foreseeable future, which is a good thing. So the Demon Realm looked amazing, the overall fluidity of everything looked amazing, and everything so far looked really good. A good episode, entertaining episode, a very nostalgic episode. And so what did it for me was feeling this overall sense of the episode feeling kind of a bit short, even though it wasn't, because I wanted to see more. But nonetheless, I think for me, for the debut of Dragon Ball Daima, it was solid. I think the recaps were a bit much, even though they all looked visually amazing. They could have dived down on that a little bit and show us a bit more of the Demon Realm instead, which I have no doubt, of course, that we will see more as the show ends up continuing. But one of the more bigger questions, at least for me, was where was Gohan? I don't think we've seen Gohan anywhere throughout that event, anywhere throughout that party, which almost makes me kind of wonder as to where he was, you know, because you can't really rule out anything with Beerus and Whis, because again, pre-Battle of Gods, so where the heck is Gohan, right? So we didn't really see them. We saw Kibito and Shin defused, actually, which again was a really cool moment to see, especially when Goku went as far as to call him out by saying, hey, didn't you guys once say that once you guys put those Patara earrings on that you're gonna stay merged forever, right? And that is, of course, because we've seen them fused within the moments where Battle of Gods begins and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But when having to go back early on into the episode, we actually got to see another character that went by the name of Glorio secretly spy and kind of eavesdrop in listening on Goma's conversation, which I'm not even gonna lie to you guys here, Glorio reminds me so much of Mira from Dragon Ball Xenoverse, from Dragon Ball Online, and so every time I personally see him, whether that's in a trailer or a promotional material, all I keep thinking is Mira and not really Glorio, you know? So once you guys end up seeing him and you really start looking at him, only then are you gonna just start seeing Mira all over the place, which again, I think they could have created a bit more of a different design instead of having to have someone kind of look like Mira. But to my understanding, we really didn't see anything from a female demon character by the name of Pansy, or at least I'm assuming she's a demon, but I think she's about to be introduced relatively soon, perhaps maybe during episode 2 or episode 3 here. So when looking at everything as a whole, I think that there is potential here. Again, I think that the overall timeline placement here is a bit wonky, but I want to kind of give it a chance to see where they go from here. So even now, by the very end, I want to go on ahead and get your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below in getting a better idea of what you guys thought about Dragon Ball Daima, because even though I went on to refrain from making any sort of video or give out any sort of comments about my thoughts on Daima early on upon its initial announcement, because I really wasn't sure about what to expect. And what I will say is that after viewing Dragon Ball Daima episode 1, I do truly wish that Dragon Ball Daima came out before Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods back during 2012, 2013, because I really do think that this would have fit the overall narrative better in having to introduce this before having to introduce the gods, Golden, Frieza, you know, things of that nature. And so that, of course, was then. We can't change the past, we can only move forward and move on into the future. And so I do want to say rest in peace to the absolute GOAT himself, Akira Toriyama. It's really honestly painful to know that he's no longer here with us, but this was in fact the final works that he had lined up for us before his unfortunate passing. So with all of the memories that he had left behind for us to all enjoy and grow from children into adults, and then from adults and having to guide our children and getting them into Dragon Ball Daima episode 1 to me was a really enjoyable and fun episode. So again, thank you, Mr. Akira Toriyama, for everything you've done, not just for myself, but for everybody listening and for all those all throughout the world that have been fans and are fans of Dragon Ball. So again, rest in peace to the absolute.
So of course y'all notice with most of the new Dragon Ball content, it's gonna get you copyrighted if you actually watch it. That's why I watch fan-made YouTube content. Shouts out to me for being smart enough to do that. Big ups to my guy. I'm glad to hear his review on it. You know what I'm saying? It's a good review. Shouts out to reaction review channels, because that's what we here for, right? Oh my God, you just stole his video. No, I reviewed his video. Hell, it's a difference. Welcome back, hot dogs. Let's keep it going. Keep it going.
Himself, Akira Toriyama. Let me know what what you all think down in the comment section below about episode 1 if you've seen it. As once again, I want to thank you all so much for watching, everybody. If you guys are new to the channel, then I do encourage for you guys to head on over and smash that subscribe button on top of giving this video a big fat thumbs up by smashing that like button down below. Tune back in for more. As always, thank you all so much for your time, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you down in the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy, guys, and have a great day. Peace.
Hello. Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to Unrelent Gaming? Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms. Sexy son of a
We got plenty
bitch.
more to go,
Bro,
so we'll see that later.
Venom walks into a bar, pushing people aside, but makes a huge mistake. He spills Wolverine's drink. Logan tells him that he looks familiar, asking him if he's stabbed him before. And as Venom gets closer, Wolverine remembers. He's Spider-Man's guy. Venom attacks, but Logan dodges and stabs him in the chest. Thinking that their fight is over, Logan grabs a beer and heads out, but Venom attacks him from behind, sending him flying through the wall, and brags about how he messed up Spider-Man. Once Logan is regenerated, he reminds Venom that Spider-Man is like 12 years old. Eventually, Wolverine overpowers Venom, and once he's on the ground, Logan tells him that someone gave him a chance a long time ago, and now this is his. Wolverine retracts his claws and says goodbye to the symbiote.
On your wildest dreams. Jesus Christ, really?
Don't forget to become a member of Unrelent Gaming's Patreon for exclusive manga content and early access. Isn't that right, Seth?
I already joined this Patreon today. Tons of great stuff on there, actually. But did you really have to blow up the city?
Yes.
Blew up the domino. You blew up the domino, and you're laughing. Do you realize the f***ing price is here?
And you will be next. Unless you subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications right now.
Or else what? You'll aggressively scream another man's name for several hours?
Kakarot! Kakarot!
And so it looks like it's all now finally come down to this, as the stakes couldn't have been any higher than they are right now. For the outcome of this battle could have far-reaching implications, not just for the fighters themselves, but for the very balance of the future timeline itself. Every moment of this battle has been a display of unparalleled combat prowess. From Hit's strategic brilliance to Goku Black's raw power and adaptability, we have witnessed a spectacle that will be remembered for ages to come. But only one of them will be the last man standing by the time this is over, and I'm afraid that if Universe 6's Hit isn't careful, then it could mean the end of everything that he's worked so very hard for as he knows it.
As our story now continues following the initial events of having Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black battle against the assassin Hit at full power, as with neither warrior shown backing down to the other and willing to go all the way to secure their victory, was when Goku Black went on to address Hit by then responding, "You, along with all of those who are just like you, are nothing more than puppets of the gods. You mortals are all slaves, and yet you still choose to go against me, who is ironically trying to free you all from bondage. How disgusting of you. But you mark my words, assassin, whether Goku and his friends return or not, they will all learn of your death that will come by my hands, and if I fall now, then there will be no one left who will carry out my vision unless I am the one to act on it. And so you know that you can't beat me, and so I will also go as far as to show you exactly why." I find it funny that you claim that we are all slaves to these gods, while you look to enslave us yourself and mask it as being a generous and forgiving god. So just save your breath while you still can, but I will go as far as to say this before we finally settle this. And that is that I truly found myself enjoying this battle of ours, Black. For not only have you helped me improve my time-skipping technique, but you've also helped me grow even stronger than I was before, Hit continues. And that's not really something that you should be happy about of learning either, so you don't stand a chance here, and you know it. With Black responding, "Well, good, because I was hoping that you'd give me a good enough fight so that I can warm up for before engaging against Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks for when they arrive. For little do you know that you've helped me too, because I've also gotten stronger, you worthless bug." To which, as Goku Black was from there shown having to power up even more so than how he did before, was when Black then went on to continue, "You are nothing more than a stepping stone to me, assassin, for you are only as good and made useful for your services as a hitman and nothing more. Which I find to be a shame, because you would have been a mighty asset in our efforts of destroying all mortals, but you are worth nothing to me, dead or alive, which is why you must be destroyed here and now." Interesting, Hit went on to then say to himself, but little does he know that he is about to walk into a trap no matter how badly he tries to destroy me, for if I could go and pull this off, then he is completely finished. But I have to be careful, because unless somehow he knows and is waiting for me to make a mistake, then I've got to try and act fast before he puts an end to my one and only plan. "You went and made a grave mistake, assassin, for I am no ordinary adversary, for I am a god whose power transcends your very understanding. And I will decimate you and prove to you that my strength is an ever-growing force with no rivals or equals. And so you know that your time is dwindling, so what could you possibly hope to try and do that will save you, Black questions? There will be nothing left of you when this is all over, assassin. I hope you know that, you fool." Well, hearing you talk about how great this power of yours is makes me sick to my stomach, especially when I look into your face to see who it's coming from, Hit responds. "For the real son Goku would never, but that is why you are both so different. For one has honor and fights with conviction, while the other hides behind someone else's power in hopes of having it save them." To which seconds later, with Hit being shown having to be the first to make his move, was when Hit went on to then continue, "But as long as I am still standing in your way, then you don't have the slightest chance of executing it, Kaioshin. Now go and hold nothing back if you want to see your mission through by getting me out of your way." In which, upon the moment of contact, the second Goku Black was from there shown having to engage against Hit, was when Black then went on to respond, "Do you think that this is some kind of a game, assassin? For how dare you try and make a mockery out of me? As if you and your kind could ever try and understand the nature of what I am, mortal scum. For you could never understand my anger," Black went on to respond by kicking Hit in the face. "For I was meant to become so much more than what I was told that I could be, as I am now both the creator and the destroyer. So you may try and resist as much as you'd like, because it won't matter," Black went on to continue by dashing towards Hit. "You'll just end up failing just like like Goku and Vegeta had failed when they tried to stop me. For you'll be lucky to make it out of this city alive, let alone with your head attached to your shoulders, assassin. I was getting a little desperate there, aren't we, Black? He went on to then question, for I wonder if it's because you and I both know that your time on this planet and within that stolen body of yours is nearing its end. So face it, Black, for you and I both know that your raw power simply cannot compare to my vast arsenal of skillful techniques. Which from that moment on, as hit was beginning to turn the tides against Goku Black, was when Goku Black then went on to respond, so don't be ridiculous, assassin. For most of your trademark attacks and techniques are something that this body had already battled against, on top of also being memorized and but then, it was from out of nowhere just before Goku Black could even go as far as to finish, where it went on to strike Goku Black in the ribs by then responding, don't even try it, because you are not and will never be the real Son Goku. As within that very moment, as Goku Black's body was then sent flying out into the distance and crashing down onto the ground, was when Hit then went on to say to himself, and now that he's down, I have to take this small moment within our battle to attack him with everything that I've got while I still can. So now tell me then, have you had enough yet, or do you still want me to go and do that again? Because I can go and do that all day without breaking a sweat, Fallen Kaioshin. Oh, so can I, assassin, so can I, Black responds, for you are without a chance, and so now watch. To which from out of nowhere, the second hit was then shown having to attempt to go for an attack with Goku Black using instant transmission and getting out of the way, was when Black went on to then respond, you severely underestimate my fighting prowess, assassin, for you can't even begin to imagine on what this body of mine is capable of, but very soon you will start to understand. But by then, it will already be far too late for any of you to do anything that will stop me from having my revenge. What could you possibly hope for, Hit? Black went on to then question. That Son Goku and his friends will somehow find a way to save you? Because they won't. And once I am able to learn more about the way you are able to use those techniques of yours, will be the very moment where I will start to use them in battle too, assassin. As from out of nowhere, with Black then shown grabbing onto the back of Hit's skull, and from that point then shown slamming his head onto a building and dragging it nearby, was when Black then went on to continue. This would have been so much easier on the both of us if you had simply accepted your limits and admitted defeat rather than continuing to be punished with the way that I'm starting to punish you now, mortal. For no longer will I ever be told on what to do by the very gods who would sink as low as to hire a mortal such as yourself to simply go and do their dirty work for them, for I am far above such things, as I am far above both Saiyans and assassins in allowing myself to be overtaken and beaten by the likes of your kind. For my destiny will not be blocked nor ripped away from me by any of you who wish to stand in my way of completing my mission, and I'll make sure that you pay dearly for what you did to me earlier. Black went on to continue by then grabbing onto his heart. Wait a second, Hit went on to then say to himself, of course, that blow to his heart is still effective enough in slowing him down a bit, which means that this could be my one and only chance to stop him. And so I will go and end it with this. Black went on to put his hands together by then responding, for this should be enough to obliterate every cell in that mortal's body upon the moment of contact. And once he's gone and out of my hair for good, Black continues, will be the very moment when I will go and find my way into targeting Lord Champa once I destroy Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks, since I already know that they'll be making their way back here very soon as well. And the more I am able to grow and adapt in battle, the more powerful that I will continue to become. You seem to be in some sort of a rush to put an end to me, Hit went on to then dash towards Black by responding, especially with what I just saw coming from you, and I'm starting to now wonder as to why that is. As that attack of yours that you're getting ready to try and fire will not be working on me again, Black. Oh no, I don't think so, assassin. Black went on to then quickly respond by kicking Hit in the chest, as if you'd be strong enough to go and endure what's about to happen to you now anyway. abilities. And now that I can see on just how big of a problem you're starting to be, I have you locked in my sights for one final move. And this time, I'll go and remind the gods that not even their most skilled assassin was enough to beat me. As next will be Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks, followed by the gods after. And so now prepare to be destroyed. As it went on to then slowly stand back up by then responding, oh, I've got to try and hurry up before he's able to reach me with that blast. But I'll need to wait it out. If I can time this perfectly, then I know that he's done for. So here goes. It went on to continue. And if this fails, then it's all over, but I have to still try. I know that this has to work, but I'll need to time it when he least expects it to see it coming, though. So tell me, was that all that you were able to dish out? It went on to then question, because here I was hoping that you'd hit a little harder than that, Kaioshin. But I guess I was wrong about you, with Black responding, oh, that's rich, coming from the very warrior who is said to have never failed a mission. Well, guess what, assassin? For the first time in your life, this was simply one mission that you couldn't see through until the very end. And that is because this will be the moment where you will finally die by my hands. And so now let this be a message to not only your god of destruction, but for the entire universe, that I am the Alpha and the Omega Assassin. For I am both the beginning and the end. Now disappear into the voids of history. In which within that very moment, as Goku Black from that point was then shown having to fire off his Kamehameha, was when he was quickly shown having to retaliate by sidestepping out of the way and unleashing another one of his invisible punches, as he went on to then quickly respond, there it is, so now's my one and only chance to end this. You're wrong, Kai, for it won't be me who perishes in this battle, because fate has already reserved that place for you. And so now do yourself a favor and don't try to fight it this time, Kaioshin. In which within that very moment, as a gigantic explosion was now shown taking place within the landscape, was when it then went on to continue. That was just way too close for comfort, but did it land? Well, surely it had to have connected, because there was no way that he could have seen that coming. As it was now seemingly right, because with Black now shown left in a state of shock in not knowing as to what had just happened, with the dust and debris now beginning to settle all around him, was when Black then went on to utter, God, but that shouldn't have been possible for him to go and do. What just happened? My body, what did you just do to my body? Wait a second, it was that attack of his, the one that he went and landed on me before, but how did he pull it off when I fired my attack directly at him? He tricked me. I know he did. I knew it. He went for my heart again. He knew that it had weakened me before. How could I have let this happen? How were you able to bypass my attack and attack me, assassin? Why am I more damaged than I was before? Black went on to then question. This was your plan all along, wasn't it? You knew, assassin! That's right, Hate went on to respond by slowly walking towards Black. The moment I struck your heart was when I knew exactly on what I needed to do to beat you, especially once I saw the reaction that you were giving off. But little did you know that throughout this battle, I wasn't just fighting the strength in your power, Black, but I was fighting your arrogance. Your belief that you had transcended mortality couldn't have been a greater lie, because look at what you've been reduced to. And it won't be long now until your heart shuts down on you as you slowly start to go to sleep, Kaioshin. And so this was my plan all along, with Black having to respond, but even if you were able to land another attack on my heart, I shouldn't be going through this much pain. And so how did you know? How did you know that this was going to be my biggest vulnerability in battle? You whoever played your hand, then you definitely overstayed your welcome, Hit responds as Black went on to power back down to base. My silence was my strategy in waiting for the precise moment to strike your heart again, and as I knew that such a hit would be something that no mortal nor Kai would never be able to recover from after 2 lethal blows to the same spots. My tactic was to always bide my time and strike your heart a second time by any means, because I knew that in a one-on-one fight when up against your raw power that I would lose. So I made sure that you took the bait until you were comfortable enough to start making mistakes, Hit continues. And now that you did, this fight along with your mission to destroy all life across the multiverse is hereby over, Black. So you knew that you couldn't beat me in a test of strength, so you instead went with using your vital techniques as a distraction, just to expose my heart, the one and only area that you knew I was weakened in, didn't you? You tricked me. You've been fooling me this entire time. With Hit responding, I was, and I did. And guess what? It worked. And now that you're starting to see that for yourself, your days are hereby numbered, Hit continues, as no matter what you try and do, even if you tried escaping, you're bound to collapse and die somewhere in this universe all by yourself. And do you honestly believe that any of what you just said is going to matter, assassin? For I am the very representation of what makes Son Goku the warrior that he is, which means that I cannot die. And as you'll see, for it'll be just like it was when you tried this little trick on me earlier, with Hit responding, except before I struck your heart once, but this time, however, you will not be so lucky to just stand there and walk away. So do yourself a favor and just accept the outcome of your future and know that you have lost. And if you don't believe me, then just look at where you are now as you're fading and fading fast, with Black quickly responding, I'll show you what it means to fade, assassin. Now just stay right where you are and don't try and move, or I'll end you one way. Or to which, as Goku Black was then shown firing a blast, it was only fairly evident now that with his blast now being shown completely missing was when Hit went on to then respond, and I told you that it was pointless. Even if that energy blast were to hit me, it still wouldn't have been strong enough for you to do any sort of real damage against me. With Black now being shown collapsing on down to a knee by then responding, this cannot possibly be happening to me right now. For everything that I've worked so hard to achieve, all that I have done to create a new utopia, it's all gone now. How could I have not seen this coming? Why was I not able to prevent this? You failed because you assumed that there would be no other mortal out there who would stand up to your evil ways of attempting to purge the multiverse of all life, Black. As in the end, you were never the true Son Goku, but only a distorted reflection of the warrior that I once knew and battled, Hit continues. Where you went and brought this upon yourself, and you know it, when it all could have been prevented. You allowed for this to happen, and it would be you who pays the ultimate price for all the pain that you went and caused, Black. Curse you, assassin. Mark my final words.
This game don't respawn in a minute. He's done. 0 extra life.
Never destroy me, and I will go on and exist elsewhere, for I am forever mortal. To which, as Goku Black was then shown collapsing on down to his knees, was when Hit went on to respond, maybe, but at least I know that in this timeline you will never see the light of day ever again. For I can feel it in the air as we speak, Kaioshin, as you were but a few moments away from crossing over into the afterlife, and it couldn't have happened any sooner. And so now sleep, for an enemy like you could never be given a chance to roam freely with how dangerous you are to the very balance of the multiverse, Hit continues. And then to think that you almost had me back there too, but instead your arrogance had blinded you from seeing what I had brewed for you all along, and all I needed was a bit of time to do it. But even with with you dead, my mission is still not over, for with one down, only one remains, Hit continues, and I vow to make sure that he goes the same way you went, Black. But at least here, life can start to heal and evolve with you out of the way, for you should have destroyed me when you had the chance, because truthfully, you had several, and so what a shame. And for a second, it almost felt like I was actually truly fighting the real Goku, until you started to make mistakes that the real Son Goku would never go and make. And now to find your partner, for when I was told that there would be two of you, I wasn't expecting for one to inhabit a stolen body while the other had used his own vessel as a weapon, and although the next one might not be an easy one, I have to make sure that no matter what happens, you perish just like your counterpart did, It continues, and whether you're immortal or not, I will find a way to obliterate you, but where to find you is the question, for he could be anywhere, including here in this very city, so I'll have to go and find a way to draw him out, It continues, because if this one is given the chance to escape, then it could get ugly, and I'll have to search for him fast, unless he knows that I was already here, which I'm sure he'll soon see. And if he's going to be anything like Black was, then I'll need to use a different strategy, but even then, I know that you're around here somewhere, Kai, so it's only going to be a matter of time, to which as Hit was then shown having to leave the city was when Hit went on to then continue, but just know that with your ally gone, you're next, and there won't be anything that you can try and do that will stop what's coming, Kaioshin, and no matter where you hide or where you try and go, I will find you and I will destroy you, Zamasu, as it was only right then and there now during that moment where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super story of the Assassin Hit versus Goku Black in the Future Timeline manga chapter number 4 finale then comes to a close. Now, even though despite it being a very controversial subject with many fans having their own personal favorites involving both Hit and Goku Black, you can make no mistake about the fact that if such a battle were to occur, would it not only be a very entertaining battle to see go down, but it would also go as far as to display the feats of both characters, since both characters were shown to adapt very, very rapidly in the Dragon Ball Super show. The overall narrative that I wanted to tell involving the story of Goku Black versus Hit was by introducing two different elements for each character and having them both operate very differently, since of course they both have very different but yet unique fighting styles, as one would only go as far as to imagine as to what it would actually feel like to take two of those hard punches by Hit at the same time back to back like that. So what I would like to know from you guys down in the comment section below right now is which of the two characters do you believe would win in a hypothetical one-on-one fight and why? On top of letting us know on which of the two characters do you believe would have the higher adaptability rate and would essentially possess the most broken moveset between Goku Black and Hit when they're unrestricted, as I do always want to go as far as to say thank you all so much for enjoying this story, to which once again, all of this and so much more is only just the tip of the iceberg of all of the content that I have coming your way very soon. So if you're not already a member of my Patreon and do want to support the fan manga content that you see on this channel, on top of gaining additional content and access to my art, soundtracks, PNGs, fan mangas, and so much more, then I do encourage for you guys to become a member of my Patreon today, patreon.com/unrealgaming, to where I will go on ahead and leave those links located down in the description box below and pinned comment section below as well, in which as always, if you guys enjoyed, then be sure to give this video a big fat thumbs up by smashing that like button down below, smash that subscribe button if you guys also just so happen to be new to the channel as well, tune back in for more, because once again, if you thought that you've seen it all, then boy oh boy, you haven't seen anything yet. So again, I want to thank you all so much for your time, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you down in the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy everybody and have a great day. Peace.
Hello. Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to Unrelent Gaming?
Of course, I don't use Patreon.
Don't forget to follow on these
Mine's
social
still
media
set up for
platforms. Sexy
TWB,
son of a
but I don't
bitch.
use Patreon no more. I use the Buy Me a
Silent
Coffee.
Cell.
Shout out to the
Me
Buy
and
Me
the
a Coffee
fans are
link.
having a moment.
That's what that's for. Okay. Same thing,
That's
right?
right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick Dragon.
You lost one fight, now you're moping like a baby. Hello? Are you listening?
I'm sorry, kid, but can you please just leave me alone?
Poor you. It really sucks to find out my future self turns out to be such a weenie, but at least it explains why you couldn't keep my safe. I'm sorry, did that upset you? Well, you and I both know it's the truth. Don't just stare at me, you big wuss. me shut up. I'm not scared of you. Let's do
Trunks
this.
got that
Come
swag.
and get me.
He's raised
Or
by
if you won't,
Vegeta.
then I'll just bring it to you.
Oh, hey, baby. Look at him. Put
What's
them
the
hands on
matter?
himself.
Get back on your feet. Call yourself a Saiyan?
Yeah, see. And that's the difference Vegeta makes in actually Trunks being raised, right? You see how much swag young Trunks currently has. Yeah, they need to explore that a lot more. Like, nah, y'all got Vegeta out here fucked up because, you know, he ain't training the Trunks to be weak. So in the future, he gonna be looking at himself like, yeah, I'm gonna need me to be stepping up because the me that was raised by dad can't play that shit.
Jesus Christ, really?
Don't forget to become a member of Unrelent Gaming's Patreon for exclusive manga content and early access. Isn't that right, Sam?
I already joined this Patreon today. Tons of great stuff on there, actually. But did you really have to blow up the city?
Yes.
Blew up the dominoes. You blew up the dominoes, and you're laughing. Do you realize the fucking crisis here?
And you will be next. Unless you subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications right now.
Or else what? You'll aggressively scream another man's name for several hours?
Kakarot! Kakarot!
Between Gohan and Universe 19's God of Destruction, Tigron, is an extremely important one, as it will go on to decide the winner of this brutal and barbaric contest. I'm afraid I sense a greater battle that is looming over the horizon, as I can also feel a far greater and much more personal battle looming in the distance that will surely go on to draw even more attention towards its cause.
As our story now continues, following the initial beam struggle involving both Ultimate Beast Gohan and Universe 19's God of Destruction Tigron, as with neither individual looking to let up against the other in fighting for their survival to see in fact which one of them will be the last one standing by the very end, was when Goku then went on to chime in. Oh, so this is just amazing, but even while they both appear to be letting it all go out there and seeing which one of them is going to be the last one standing, my only concern is if Lord Tigron is secretly holding out on way more power than what he's shown having to use out there against Gohan, as Vegeta went on to then respond. Well, I don't think that he honestly is, because I want you to go and look a little closer out there and see for yourself in case you have any doubts about where this is going, Kakarot. And that is because if that God of Destruction truly was hiding a lot more than what we expect, then I think it's safe to say that this battle would have already been over with that destroyer overtaking Gohan during the middle of all of this. But since it doesn't appear to look that way, then I think it's safe to assume that this is all that Lord Tigron has to offer out there against him. Otherwise, Gohan would have been defeated by now, and so there is still that chance that Gohan just might be a little stronger than Lord Tigron, which would also explain on why he hasn't faltered yet, with Goku responding, hey, I think you're right, because look, maybe it's just me here, but I think Gohan's actually shown pushing Lord Tigron back some more, because I think he's starting to lose some ground out there. Oh yes, come on now, son, for I know that you have the power to win this, especially if you were shown having to come this far and becoming who you are after giving it your all to train under Lord Beerus. And so I know that you have what it takes to muscle through that destroyer's strength and overtake him, Gohan. Good. That's right, Saiyan. Beerus went on to then chime back in. Do as you were shown having to do against me and deliver onto him your absolute fullest. Nice. See, well, while I find their battle to be one that is quite fascinating to watch unfold, Liger went on to address Beerus by then chiming in. It is only now clear that with neither one willing to yield on their own, they have given everything they could without crossing the line where true destruction lies for either of them, as it is also very rare to have seen a mortal stand up to a god of destruction in ways which both Gohan and Broly were shown having to do. But even so, are you able to see it now too, Ligor questions? For a clear winner is starting to emerge down there between them, and it should be very obvious on who has the upper hand down there in this contest as it reaches its final moments. For your mortal warriors have most definitely proven to us on why they are more than worthy of deserving to stand among our kind. But, Ligor continues, while we watch their powers along with their ambitions collide, we will now find out on just which one of them will truly remain as the last warrior standing. And so now watch very closely as we are about to see it happen in a matter of a few moments, to which as Gohan was shown now having to give it his all, it had only become painfully clear to Gohan now that he had to give it his all in order to walk away from this battle in one piece, as Gohan then went on to quickly shout, "This will be as far as I will allow for you to go here against me in this battle, and so I hope that you go and take this as confirmation that us mortals from the 7th will never go down without putting up a good fight against you. And now, full power attack!" As Tigron went on to then put up his guard by responding, "Why you? Well, as good of a fight as you may have displayed, even this attack alone, while giving it your all, will not win you the day, Saiyan." To which it was only moments later, with a gigantic explosion then shown having to take place as Gohan went on to put up his guard and having to shield himself, was when Gohan then went on to continue, "Oh, there we go. Oh man, what a powerful shockwave behind that intense explosion. But I just know that it had to have done the trick. Oh man, as that one just nearly went and took every little bit of power that I had in order to push that right through his attack. And while it wasn't something that I thought was going to come easy," Gohan continues upon being shown putting his hands on his knees, "there is just no way that he should still be shown having to stand after taking an attack like that head on the way he did. And so I just gotta be sure." But then, it was only shockingly enough to Gohan's surprise, as Tigron was indeed shown standing and having to address Gohan, was when Tigron went on to then respond, "I wouldn't be so quick to celebrate anything here if I were you right now, Saiyan. For you may have wounded me for the time being while catching me by surprise with an attack of such great magnitude. But let us not forget about the agreement that we had made, because in case you may have thought that this battle was over, then I'd hate to have to break it to you, but just in case your eyes are a bit blinded by the beating that you have sustained, I'm still standing, Saiyan. And while you are the first mortal to ever draw blood from me in a battle like this," Tigron continues, "you will undoubtedly come to find out that you will also now be the last. For even though I knew that you were vastly different when compared to your allies, understand that even while at your absolute best here against me, even your best wasn't ultimately good enough to bring me down and keep me down for the long haul, Gohan. And so while I commend your bravery and acknowledge your warrior spirit along with your strength to stand up to a god of destruction in battle, as long as I am still shown standing before you, this fight is far from over." As Gohan then went on to respond, "Oh man, there's just no way. How much can this guy seemingly go and take? Because there's no way that he should still be standing up to me right now, unless, I think I can see it. He's struggling to stand. Well, you can quit pretending to want to go and still continue this fight," Gohan says, "because I know that you wouldn't be able to take much more of that again, and so just know that I'm not going to stop, and nor am I going to waver until you go down first." But then, in a bizarre twist of fate, as Tigron's knee was shown having to touch the ground first and having to falter with Gohan having to quickly follow, this had only now become a clear-cut indication that the fight was indeed now over, as Goku then went on to chime in, "Hey, wait, are you guys seeing what I'm I'm seeing out there too? Because if Gohan's conditions were agreed upon prior to their battle, then that would ultimately mean that with Lord Tigron shown dropping down on his knee first, then Gohan by default should hereby be the winner of this contest. As Vegeta went on to respond, yes, but look, because that God of Destruction isn't the only one to drop down to a knee.
Shouts out to my son, he out here doing something.
Moments after the Destroyer did,
Look at this Piccolo son.
this battle should officially be over.
That Piccolo boy out there catching bodies.
Standing among them both by the very end before dropping, and so because of this, Gohan should be declared the winner. As Beerus went on to then respond,
about that same DNA.
Just a second here, did
Yeah,
you know
within the
that this battle
neck
was going to end in Gohan's
influence.
He's gone, but he was just standing right beside me, and so how was it that he was able to move that fast before I was able to even see him vanish on me like this? Beerus questions. No, for I am certain of it by now if I already wasn't before, and so I know that there is something more to that Destroyer than what he appears to be letting off out there, as whatever that is and whatever it is that he is hiding, Beerus continues, is something that I plan on finding out for myself one way or another. To which it was only back down below with Ligor shown having to appear behind Tigron and addressing him following the initial stages of this battle was when Ligor went on to then respond, though I can understand that you are still willing to go and continue this contest against the Saiyan, given how I can still sense your urge to want to go and fight back despite the two of you being shown wavering. It would be best for you to go and just accept the outcome of this battle, given how you went on to agree to the Saiyan's conditions, since this wasn't going to be a fight to the finish by the end of it. And so while this does fall as a technical defeat due to how you were shown dropping down to a knee before the Saiyan did, Ligor continues, you have nothing left to prove out here against these mortals, since I'm more than certain that they already know as to where you stand among them. Well, take it for what it's worth, for even though you were also shown having to drop down to your knees, Beerus went on to then appear behind Gohan by responding, there is no need for you to go and try and continue this battle, for you have already proven yourself, Saiyan, with Gohan responding, Lord Beerus, but do you truly think that this is over? Because, well, from the looks of it, I don't think that God of Destruction is looking to call it a day here against me now, with Ligor having to then respond, the mortal did well, Lord Tigron, but I can still sense a burning desire for you to want to go and continue, and so now will you? With Tigron responding, well, be that as it may, I'm not finished with him just yet, and so just you wait right here in the meantime with what is about to happen here, but do not go and make the first move here against him unless he does, Saiyan, for you'd want to go and be ready for anything just in case, and so now let's just wait and see. But then, it was only just upon with Gohan being shown putting up his guard, as surprisingly enough, Tigron went on to extend his arm towards Gohan's direction, was when Tigron then went on to respond, to say that I'm impressed would be an understatement, Saiyan, for I may have been the first to falter in this battle, with you following right behind me and doing the same moments after the fact. Just know that this does not diminish the respect that you have gained from me here today, to which as Tigron was then shown having to finally shake Gohan's hand, was when Tigron then went on to continue, for your tenacity along with your warrior spirit has shown me that you are not only worthy of being called an ally alongside us, but you are also one who is worthy enough in being called an equal. And while I know that the outcome could have been different if we had continued, since I wasn't willing to stop where we were, I think it's safe to say that you have earned this victory today, Saiyan, but do bear this in mind, for one day we will spar again, only this time, the outcome of our next battle will be completely different than what it was that happened here today, Saiyan, with Gohan responding, well, although there was never any real bad blood here between us, I am honored to have battled against such a formidable opponent such as yourself, because you certainly, of course, didn't go and make things any easier for me out there while fighting you, but while I share the same level of respect for both you and Lord Ligor, Gohan continues, thank you for going and giving me a chance and showing you on what my universe is truly all about, to which as Beerus was then shown redirecting his focus towards Gohan, was when Beerus then went on to respond, you did exceptionally well out there against such a foe, and while it is rare for anyone to be given a destroyer's respect through combat, just know that not only do you have Lord Tigron's Gohan's respect, but you also have mine as well, Saiyan, with Gohan responding, "Oh, well, thank you, Lord Beerus. And while I know that Lord Tigron wanted to keep going as I did, I'm just glad that I was able to make use of the training that I did alongside with you and putting it to the test out here against someone other than yourself, and so thank you." Well, you know what that means now, don't you, Vegeta? Goku then went on to address Vegeta by responding, "Because with both Broly and Gohan now lapping us in power, I think that we ought to start getting back into shape and fast once we get back, because not for nothing, but it looks like we have a whole lot of training to do if we hope to keep up with these guys in the long run," with Vegeta responding, "Well, obviously, Kakarot, because I don't plan on staying far behind either of them for too long, and so you better either keep up once we go and get back, or just simply go and stay out of my way while I train, because by the end of it, I won't have you go and try to slow me down, especially not with all that we have experienced here either here today," as Tigron went on to then walk away by responding, "Though out of the four of them, the mortals who go by Broly and Gohan have proven their standing in case we would need them, while the other two who go by Goku and Vegeta still unfortunately need much improvements, as I think that they should conclude any more doubts that we may have had, since we now know as to where they all stand," with Ligor responding, "Very well then, for let us go and heal you in the meantime, while we also go and inform them all on what it was that we had learned before having to send them back to their respective world." But then, it was only just upon with both gods of destruction being shown having to take their leave before Beerus had gone as far as to stomp his foot down in addressing them was when Beerus went on to address Lord Ligor by responding, "Now I wouldn't be so quick to just walk away from here if I were you, God of Destruction, and so don't think for 1 second that I haven't noticed, because I've been observing you very closely ever since you first stepped foot onto my planet when you did, and since that time, I can't help but notice that there's something off about you, something different," Beerus continues, "something unusual, but undeniably interesting nonetheless, Lord Ligor, for I have been around long enough to recognize when someone isn't who they appear to be, and I'm telling you right now that you are nothing like the other gods of destruction, for there appears to be something far more to you than what you are letting on, and I intend to find out on exactly what that is one way or another, Destroyer, for you carry yourself differently than the rest. Your energy, your aura, it's unlike any other Destroyer in our line of duty, and I can't stand on not knowing as to why. And what exactly is this god of destruction trying to suggest by making such openly vague statements like this?" Tigron went on to then question, "Unless, does he happen to know?" with Ligor responding, "That he may, but there's only one other way for us to find out, and so very well then, God of Destruction, then if you find my presence to be one that raises concern, then what exactly is it that you propose here that'll go and put your mind at ease, since you appear to be rather extremely fascinated by something, and so because of this sudden curiosity, I will hereby offer you a chance to air your frustrations out to me, while you also lay out your solution," with Beerus responding, "Well, early on, moments after stepping foot into this universe, I had the pleasure of speaking with Whis about a certain provision that you may have not made use of just yet, something regarding newly appointed gods of destruction, where I was reminded of the white flag rule that had been given to us," Beerus continues, "which is one that allows for a newly appointed destroyer to challenge or directly train with another god of destruction, and since I've already been given approval in getting my rematch against Universe 13's god of destruction, Lord Reno, you can rest assured that I had went on to make sure to go and remind him on just who the real dominant destroyer between us truly was when I defeated him. But what about you, god of destruction? For I suspect that you haven't used your opportunity yet to enable this perk just yet, now have you? Because trust me, I can tell. And since I know that you haven't, then why don't you go and extend the same courtesy here to me, and go and take this opportunity while I offer it to you to use this extension on over against me. So what do you say, Beerus questions? For this doesn't have to go and be a death battle, but rather more of a simple exhibition between two governing and extremely powerful gods of destruction, and so what do you say?
Wait, is Lord Beerus actually serious with what he wants to go and do right now? Vegeta went on to then question. He wants to spar and go one-on-one against that Lion Destroyer, as in right here, right now?
Yeah, well, and I think he's
You already know,
serious about
Goku,
it too.
run them
Vegeta
hands.
Goku then went on to respond, but what exactly
Shit,
does Lord
Goku ain't
Beerus
the only one
mean by
that just
what
be
he
out here
just
trying to
said?
run
As
phase.
I always figured that there was
Dragon
something
Ball.
more to
Everybody
Lord
got
Iroh
these
when Goku
heads.
and I had first met him on Lord Beerus' planet,
It's
but
like what
is Lord
words
Beerus
you say?
able to
We all
maybe
about
see
that
something
hero
more
life.
to him that even we ourselves aren't able to fully see? Surely he can't be
Yeah.
serious enough to actually want to go and do this now, does he? Tigron then went on to question. Because with his suspicions aside, what does this destroyer expect to actually try and gain out of this by waging a battle here against you? For has his curiosity driven him mad at the thought of what he thinks that he knows? Or does he actually intend to gauge himself here against you in order to see where he stands among the best? Because moreover, now isn't the time when we have other matters to worry about, Tigron continues, such as the possibility of there having to be rogue destroyers along with the potential for there to be a massive tournament that is held in the future here against us. But then, it was only just during the middle of Tigron having to be shown expressing himself to Ligor as Ligor went on to interrupt him by answering was when Ligor then went on to quickly respond. Worry not about the situation, Lord Tigron, because if Lord Beerus wants to challenge me and if he wants to learn more about what lies beneath my surface, then I will not go and deny him. For this also might be something that can further reinforce our trust for this universe, Ligor went on to continue, and so I will go and hereby grant him this moment to go and hold an exhibition bout against me, but you, on the other hand, you should go and leave this one up to me and observe as we engage. Take note of every move and every shift in power that is made, because surely enough there are lessons to be learned here, for once this is settled and over with here between us, then I will further go on to take my leave and speak with the Grand Priest in matters of gaining further approval to go and continue to train alongside with you, as I will make sure that our training will go and resume after our business with the 7th is hereby over and done with, Ligor continues, so that way we can only from that point then go and inform them all on most of the things that you and I were told about that they should go and know, as Whis went on to appear next to Gohan by then responding, well, that was an incredible performance that you went out there to go and display, Gohan, because not only does this go as far as to show off the fruits of your training with Lord Beerus, but for the time being, since we're already here, I think that it would be best for us to go and watch from the sidelines, since I think that things are about to become very intense out here between these destroyers. And so now because of this, let us go and take our leave now and watch this bout from a safe enough distance then, shall we? Now I was told that your instincts were far sharper than most of the other gods of destruction when it came down to figuring things out that go far beyond the surface level, Ligor went on to then respond, as you are not essentially wrong in your judgment here about me, but while I am not malicious in my nature, but rather hold more of a neutral stance on the prospects of life and existence itself, there is indeed more to my nature than what I've allowed myself to openly reveal, but heed my words, Ligor continues, though I do not view yourself nor your universe as adversaries against our cause, I want you to make no mistake about how I will be treating you here during this battle, for I will be treating you as such during this contest, and so while the passage of time flows differently between our universes, Ligor continues, do not go and mistaken my newly appointed position as weakness, as that couldn't be further from the truth. And while I am also curious to see on just how much you've grown since the last time that you and I have crossed paths, I just hope that you understand that I expect to see nothing more than your absolute best. With Beerus responding, though while I don't assume that you hold any maliciousness towards myself or towards my universe and its mortal warriors, my only curiosity stems from what I am able to sense that's flowing deep within your very spirit, because I also don't intend to fight you with the intention to go as far as to destroy you either, nor do I view either of you destroyers as direct adversaries, but what I will say is that my only takeaway is getting down to the bottom of why you appear to be so calm, but yet so feared and respected by our kind, as I also intend on finding out more about what it was that you had mentioned to me earlier, Beerus continues, and so, you may go and take that how you will, Destroyer, to which as Whis was then shown having to heal Gohan was when Goku then went on to respond, way to go out there, Gohan, for I couldn't be any prouder in seeing how far you've come since the very beginning, and so we all couldn't be any happier to see how much you've grown, with Gohan responding, oh thank you,
that, as Lord Tigron was far stronger and way more difficult to deal with than I thought that he would be. But what I will say is that now that Lord Beerus is calling out to spar against Lord Ligor, I'm actually a bit more worried about what this fight will have in store for us, because I have a feeling that this is about to be a far more intense battle than how even mine was shown being out there against Lord Tigron, and so we'll see. Well, I'm glad to know that we are both on the same page here when it comes down to our positions. Ligor went on to then point out to Beerus by responding, and so just know that we are destroyers with responsibilities that go far beyond any mere rivalry. However, in this battle, I will go and treat you as much of a worthy adversary as any other, for this is not about proving who is superior over the other in this contest. At least it is not for me. However, God of Destruction, what I will say is that I am more curious to know on just how powerful your will is when battling against another destroyer, for I want to see on just how much you've grown since suffering defeat by the hands of Lord Reno, along with your sudden and swift victory over him. For I can also go and safely tell you that I am not Lord Reno, and I will not be so easily taken down as you may assume that I might be. And so for your sake, I hope that you are ready, because I most definitely am. And so now let us prepare and begin, as it was only right then and there now, during that moment, where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super story of the resurrected fallen gods of destruction, the legendary God Saga manga chapter number 5 special, then comes to a close.
Well, actually, I'll go ahead and take it from here, as I do want to go as far as to address something very important with our dear viewers at the moment. As before I go and give you the following information, if you aren't already a member of Unreal's Patreon community, then you are truly missing out on so much without you even knowing, because not only is the next episode already on the page, but if you want to support all of the manga content that you see and gain access to tons of exclusives along the way that range from a variety of different things, then we do encourage for you all to become members of our Patreon community today, for we will link everything down within the description box below and pinned comment section as well. Now, I will go as far as to say that although Gohan has shown tremendous resiliency against Lord Tigron, despite with the two of them shown leaving it all out there on the battlefield, it would only now appear as though with Lord Beerus calling out Lord Ligor to a one-on-one contest in order to test one another's might, and seeing what Lord Beerus had been curious about this entire time when involving Lord Ligor's presence, you do not want to miss out on what is about to happen coming up next. So we hope that you all enjoyed today's video. As before you leave, do make sure to give this video a thumbs up by smashing that like button on your way out, as well as subscribing to Unreal and Gaming's channel in case you are new around here. We thank you all for watching and hope you all have a wonderful day, everyone, as we'll see you all in the next one.
Hello. Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to Unrelent Gaming? Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms. Sexy son of a bitch. Roshi. Silent Cell. Me and the fans are having a moment. That's right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick Dragon Ball content. Quality reviews with flawless editing. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You dirty bitch. Roshi, the fuck? God damn it, I need them to subscribe, Cell. And we're demonetized. Yeah, screw it. Let's cut to the video.
You're making a big mistake. Where do you think you're going? Pity, what a waste of talent. Not today. Back off. Have it your way. A tough guy like you should be able to face the truth.
Are you okay? Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light.
All right, hot dogs. We'll catch y'all next Saturday for another Super Saturday with some Dragon Ball content reviews. I might have some more videos for y'all though. Y'all never know. I might feel like posting. I might feel like posting.